As we have already said, task-based assessment is important for both teaching and learning purposes. There are 1,000 of different approaches to assessment, but we have decided to start from peer and self-assessment as we think that they are essential to enable learners to reflect and become more aware of their own skills and competences. According to several scholars, increasing learner involvement in assessment enhances student-centered learning. Such characteristics are crucial in task-based language teaching since it implies that the learner is actively engaged in the didactic process by performing tasks using the target language. Peer and self-assessment provides learners with the opportunity of developing a further understanding of their own learning process and evaluating their readiness for a task according to their goals. These procedures allow learners to put themselves to test as they participate in monitoring and information gathering activities along with the teachers. However, a consensus on the reliability of such practices has not yet been reached. Concerns have been raised regarding learners' ability to assess themselves and their peers, as well as the accuracy and the objectivity of their own judgments compared to those provided by the teachers. Even though such preoccupations should not be dismissed, we believe that peer and self-assessment could be extremely useful to teachers as they may provide them with new insights and precious data so as to improve their own performances. Furthermore, these strategies go further beyond verifying the success or rating learners' results, since it gives them an opportunity of developing the most important skills of making objective judgments about the quality of their own work and that of their peers as well, and of generally enhancing their learning skills. There are several approaches to peer and self-assessment. In this segment, we would like to highlight the relevance of educating learners on how to evaluate the tasks that they carry out. For this reason, when we decide to turn to peer and self-assessment, we need to have a discussion with our class concerning learning outcomes and assessment criteria in order to find a common ground and make sure they understand what we expect from them. But first, let's see how to make peer and self-assessment work. In the previous module, we have seen together how to implement the activity Create a Catalogue with recommended or worth-seeing films. In that activity, we asked learners to select 3 to 5 films that represent a genre of their choice, agree or disagree, and document their final decisions by creating a list to present to the class. If we decide to make use of peer and self-assessment to evaluate this activity, then we should discuss and identify assessment criteria before we start. For instance, we can invite students to carefully observe their peers' presentation and evaluate it, focusing on 4 main criteria. 1. Content. Is the list well thought and coherent? Secondly, organization. Is the presentation smooth? Does the presentation include an introduction, a main body, and a conclusion? Third, language. Is the language used accurate and appropriate? And finally, delivery. Is a student confident? Do they create a rapport with the audience? They will then write their observations on a handout that we have designed together or we have provided them with. As for the self-assessment, we may record each student's performance and ask them to watch or listen to it again, either at home or in class, and assess themselves according to the same criteria we have used for the peer assessment. As you can see, peer and self-assessment are 2 extremely valuable tools for evaluating learning performances and measuring the efficacy of our own teaching. In the next video, we will talk about needs analysis and learning outcomes in task-based assessment.